Telepathic abilities are going to start to become more common. In part, we're going to have support from the biological AI that we're building, but also in part, people are going to be born. People that are ready to, move on to the next phase of development are going to be born in such a way that those abilities are just going to be easier to come to the forefront. Interestingly, I don't think that you're going to be able to see any genetic changes in them. In other words, I think in 100 years from now, there's going to be people that are born that remember their past lives. I think if you do a DNA test on them and compare it to us now, there's not going to be any difference, because all these changes are essentially in consciousness and with the etheric body, and the way the etheric body is interacting with the energy of the planet and the collective consciousness and things like that. You're not going to see any physical DNA changes unless we engineer ourselves. Because again, you don't need it. That's the beauty of this. You don't need to mess around with your DNA. You have everything you need. You have it right now. So I think it's, it helps to keep in mind as you look at everything that's happening on the planet, and especially, now the human race is at a stage where we have very high, we have a lot of travel. People can go anywhere they want. You start to see all these differences between people and clashes and conflict. And, and you can kind of wonder, at least I do sometimes, it's like, man, what in the heck is going on here? Why is this so difficult for us to grow and progress together as a race? And part of that is just, we're a diverse race physically, because there's been just a lot of different genetic intervention in the past, and that just made changes. And then also everyone, we're a diverse race in terms of, spiritually, we're very diverse. And you have some people that have maybe learned a little bit faster, had more lives. Keep in mind that you can incarnate at a faster rate or a slower rate. So some people have a lust for life, and they incarnate much faster, much more, and they probably give themselves bigger challenges, and maybe they can learn from those. Some people might just take a more relaxed approach. So you're going to see different rates of spiritual growth, and then that's going to affect how they incarnate, into what kind of bodies they incarnate, and all sorts of things. So it's it makes a very messy situation. But it's good to always keep in mind that all experience is useful. Someone is learning from that. You may not be able to see it, you may not be able to understand it, but at some level, there's a higher self that's learning from that experience, and for whom that experience is useful. And all life is sacred anywhere in the universe. Doesn't matter what it is.